Hi there, Claire Downham, Queen of Calm, Transformational Life Coach with the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. And today I'm going to talk about 3 things that I have noticed have helped me to feel calmer. And those 3 things are acceptance, non-judgment and presence. And I guess why these 3 things have helped me to feel calmer over time is because of a simple understanding about how my experience is being created in life. So there's a message out there in life that our experience is created, our feelings come from those things outside of us, our circumstances. And whenever we believe this, there is some discomfort. Now that can either mean that there's some discomfort because there's something in the world we don't like and we think that's creating our feelings, so we don't feel good, or there's something in life that we think will make us feel better, and when we don't have that thing, again we don't feel good. So these 3 things, acceptance, non-judgment and presence, what I have noticed over time is that the more time I spend in those states of mind, the better I feel, the calmer I feel. So, but underpinning all of that is this understanding that it is always me feeling thought in the moment. I am never ever feeling my circumstances. That underpins everything, every perspective I take on life now. Not all the time, because I do float in and out of it, but this is what I have seen about those things. So acceptance is where I'm going to start today. And what I see so often is that there's a situation in somebody's life and it looks very, very real that situation is creating someone's feelings. And then there's a not nice feeling about that. And it looks like the not nice feeling is coming from the thing. But actually, it's coming from the space between what is and what we would like to be the case. So actually, the discomfort is coming from a lack of acceptance. And so often there's so much discomfort because the world isn't how we want it to be. The world isn't as we would like it to be. And we think the discomfort comes from the thing being the way it is, but the discomfort's really coming from the fact that we don't like it, that we're not accepting of it. And for so many people, that's really about a lot of things that are not in our control. You know, the weather's a great one, isn't it? I know people who, their whole mental state seems to depend on the weather, which is something that is absolutely not in our control. Quite often, the behaviour of other people, that can be like the weather, can't it? Going up and down. And that we can't accept. And so we feel awful. Now, it sounds like there's something to do there, but really, there is just some awareness to bring. Like, can you notice where you're feeling discomfort because something just isn't how you want it to be? Now, that doesn't mean you don't want to change a situation. But I think when we come from a place of acceptance, the next right thing to do seems to occur to us because we're in a quieter place, because we're in a nicer feeling. And that really leads beautifully on to presence. I was going to talk about judgment next, but I'm going to talk about how presence helps you feel calmer. I've spoken recently about mindfulness and about all the activities you can do to help yourself be more present, be more in the moment. But it turns out that when you change your relationship with thought, dropping into the present is much simpler than you might think. And there's a few little questions that are around awareness. Like, where is your awareness right now? Is your awareness in the here and now? Are you seeing what's here? Are you hearing what's here? Are you feeling what's actually present with you right now? Or are you seeing the scary movie that's playing out in your head, hearing the horror stories of what might be to come? Or feeling the feeling of that? There's something quite magical that happens when we fall into the present moment, because you're suddenly closer to reality. Like, we're never really in reality, because our perception of life is always creating our experience. But there can be a quite magical moment when we fall into the present, because that's the closest we can get to reality, being in the here and now. There's still the veil of our thinking through which we perceive everything, through which we experience everything, but when there's less on our minds about the past and the future, we are more connected to what is actually happening. So presence is another magical place to come from if you want to feel calmer, and that for me has been an experience. And I guess where acceptance and presence are really connected is that once there is acceptance and there's a quieter place inside your mind, you will more naturally be in the present moment, and what occurs to you to do next will come from a nicer feeling. And then it's quite magical what unfurls from that place. And the third thing that I think helps you keep calmer, it is non-judgment. And trust me, this is coming from a woman who was the queen of judgment, and I still get caught up in it all the time. But I kind of know that's okay and human to do that. And where my judgment was and still is very prominent is in other people's behaviours and the things other people do. I'm going to give an example actually. We went for a very early morning walk, and we walked past, there's a path that normally goes across a golf course near us, and there's a gate you can just climb through normally. Well, last year the groundsman, I'm assuming of their assumption, but somebody had put barbed wire across the fence to try and stop people getting through. And but it does seem to be a path going across a golf course, which seems to be a thing that people do walk across. I've walked across lots of golf courses and never felt like I shouldn't be there. And now they've put a great big trailer across the gate, so there's just no way without stinging yourself full of nettles that you can get across anymore and go on this lovely path, which actually has a beautiful view over Leeds. And why have they done that? I was doing all of that this morning. But then there's a remembering that it's not a trailer across a gate or the person who did that or their reasoning or anything else that's creating my feeling, but me ranting about it is creating the feeling. And really non-judgment has become one of my elements of self-care, that actually I'm not looking after myself if I'm ranting about other people's behaviour. I don't feel nice. It's not a pleasant place to be. So it makes less sense to do it. So the invitation as always is to bring some awareness to this, that if you are noticing you're not as calm as you'd like to be, if you would like to feel calmer, then there's definitely a place to look towards those three things of acceptance, non-judgment and presence. I hope you found that helpful. I'm Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Transformational Life Coach, and this has been the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. Thank you and take care.